So the last thing you want to live with is the pain of regret, the pain of I didn't make the decision soon enough.
But he has the same opportunity. We got to help each other. We got to pull on each other. We got to push each other. We got to challenge each other.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. My name's Bowen Sweeney, sitting here with
Jareel, Hampton, and Landon, Hale.
So two guys from Florida who have absolutely been killing the insurance industry on the sales side. And I feel that obviously through their journey and through their experience and through working hard, they figured out a skill set to be able to sell over 50 grand a month. So this is definitely a pod that you want to listen back to. This is going to be a pod that you want to take notes on. You want to study these guys because that's the focus. When you get in the sales industry, figure out who's selling at the highest level and what do they say to be able to sell at the highest level. So before we dive into some stuff that you guys are doing within your business, some stuff that you guys are doing with sales, just tell us a little bit, Landon. What was your backstory? What were you doing before insurance and how did you get into insurance?
Yeah, so I actually played football my entire life. Growing up, I was in a very active family, played sports year round, and I just always, embodied the mindset of being very disciplined, consistent. I wanted to, anything I kind of did in life, I wanted to do at the highest level, which is, always been through your mind to play Division I football. Made it, obviously, Division I, really enjoyed it, built great relationships, ended up getting my degree, made great connections down there. And I just always knew, kind of had that mindset of like, football is just a means to an end for me. And I was really just utilizing the connections that I made and the lessons that I learned, and got into insurance right after I graduated and really just haven't looked back.
Yeah. I feel too for athletes that come into the business. I feel a lot of people will see that they have had some success early on in the business. Can you talk about how playing Division I football had kind of groomed you rolling into sales and rolling into business?
Yeah. So I just feel like athletes are just natural. The sales connection is just very natural. Everything we do at a very high level and we move quick. And it's kind of like in football, like you're chasing perfection knowing that you'll never be there. It's kind of the same way with sales. Like you're always trying to improve something every single day, little tweaks here and there, and just that consistency over time, because a lot of people, they'll come in, they'll start fast, then kind of fizzle off. And it's just kind of like an up and down, whereas just athletes tend to be, more just up, right? And that mentality and that mindset is really transitioned very well for me. And I have created a team of only athletes. My goal is to be the biggest and the largest team in insurance of just all athletes, because I just have seen the transition be so smooth for me. And I know, when a lot of guys finish playing ball, when football is your identity, you kind of crush, you have nothing else to do. So how do we pivot using the skills you already have to translate directly into this industry?
Yeah. I feel in sales it softens the blow of how difficult the industry actually is.
Yeah.
And you have something to be able to relate it to. It was like, for me, I understood the same thing in sales. Like I played college football. So I was like, okay, you have a coach. He's going to tell you the plays that we run. He's going to tell you where to line up. He's going to tell you the coverage that we're in, and it's up to you to be able to make the play.
Yeah.
And I feel that's the same thing as sales. It's like, there's going to be a script. There's going to be the phone. There's going to be the leads that you dial, but it's up to you to be able to make the play. And the only way that you get comfortable is repetition experience. So after being in that position time after time, you're going to be able to run and fit up the play just how you had it designed in your mind, which is huge.
Right. I mean, 100%. And that's what I was trying to make the point of earlier, is the skills and the tools that I've had in my bag. Like for my guys coming in, I relate everything back to football. Like when we talk about listening to presentations and recording yourself and listening to it, that goes back to film study. When we talk about the age leads, I compare it to fall camp. It's kind of like going through fall camp. You wouldn't go into the season without going through that grit period of just getting cussed out on the phones, hung up on, really incredibly difficult people. And it's almost to where you're kind of like, dang, is this like really what it's cut out to be? But you've got that season in mind, knowing like, okay, this is just a phase so that I can get to, a bowl game, right? And so that's kind of the mentality we just.
So good analogy. I feel it helps for some guys getting off the field with a little bit of CTE. It's like, it's the same thing you guys are probably.
We know a thing or two about that for sure.
Awesome. Well, Jareel, if you want to give us a little backstory, what you were doing before this. Obviously, you've had quite the journey in insurance. I feel a lot of people would have given up going through what you went through, but it helped. And how I see it is it helped build character and help develop the leader that can lead a lot of solid individuals. So just give us a little backstory, what you were doing before that.
Yeah, so I did not go the college route at all. Instead of me going to college, I got right into knocking doors. I moved from Maryland all the way over to California when I was 18 to start knocking on doors. Long story short, knocked doors for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and didn't make really any money. Kind of similar to you, I got into the insurance business with $200 to my name, but I opened up 2 credit cards. And after failing in solar, it was kind of like an area of I need to see myself succeed in this industry or else my parents were right. So I opened up those credit cards and just ran up a bag on them, but put my back against the wall and just listened to the people that are above me. Started making money my first month, and then it just continued to grow each and every month. I learned all the lessons where I first joined in the business. And then after about a year, like a year and a half, I was starting to see a few issues where I was at previously, where that made me decide to make the transition, honestly, to being here because I wanted to see more growth within myself, but also within my team, and see people in front of me in a spot where I'd like to be as well.
Yeah. Love it, dude. That's I feel too that's what entrepreneurship is you're like, hey, here's the opportunity. I don't have the capital or I'm not in the position to be able to fund my business. So what do? You don't give up. You've figured out how to get credit cards, how to get debt or get loans or whatever it may be to be able to gain capital to invest in your business to get it rolling.
Of course.
One question I have for you is what is similar on the doors to the insurance space? Obviously, you've came up to this point, and before you answer that question, just let people know how old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Landon, how old are you?
20.
20 and 21, running a business and making money, which is incredible. And thinking about what you did before you were even 21 years old is incredible. Like majority of people never even experience that. They never take the risk, and they never get to a point that they see this vision or they're on path towards their vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some things that you saw on the doors that you could relate to insurance? And what was something that you feel if you knew on the doors, you would have been able to have success?
I would say two things. First thing is going to be the rejection that you face because at the end of the day, whether it's people in person or people over the phone, you're always going to get told no. The beauty of this business is, well, you'll see it as like being something that's good and bad. You're going to face more rejection in this industry as well as the doors than an average person would in their entire lifetime. So I think that's very cool to understand because you're learning so many lessons through that adversity that you're facing. But something else that I learned as well is in both doors and this business, it's all just about outlasting. Because in really anything, the only way you can actually fail is if you quit. Obviously, I stopped doing solar, so and a normal person dies, I guess I failed in that industry. But moving over to this industry, it's all the same. The only way that you cannot succeed is just by literally stopping. And that's what I would say the biggest correlation, that's not the word to use, but the biggest thing would be for the two industries from just off the top of my head.
Yeah. And I feel too, after being in this business for 5 years, how I correlate like rejection is what is required. So when people will say, well, you got to deal with a lot of rejection, I just say rejection is what's required to be able to get the result that you're seeking. Of course. And if you change these words of like the long hours, it's just what's required. The long dials, it's just what's required. The long weeks, the long months, the years put in the business. It's not that, it's what's required to be able to win and what's required to be able to have success. Right. And I feel that's huge. A lot of people will see, well, rejection. I don't like the feeling of rejection. Well, like the feeling of what's required to be able to win and right able to get in that position.
And I agree with that so much, but it's just like we want to win. And so like if you want to win, you have to be willing to pay the price without asking the cost. That's ultimately, in my opinion, what it boils down to. And you just have to be real with yourself. Like if that is not your goal, then, you know, business and this space is probably not for you. There's a lot of other things out there. But if you're like that 1% who thinks big and really wants to grow, you just got to be willing to do what it takes.
Yeah, my buddy, one of my agents, he sent this quote in today from Alex Ramosi, and I don't remember it exactly, but it all correlates with each other, just going off of if you want the easy life, do the hard things first, or if you want the hard life, do all the easy things now. Just like you were saying earlier, the path to hell feels like heaven, but the path to heaven feels like hell. It's all the same, and if you can just think about that in business, there's not a single chance that you do not succeed.
100%. That's huge. And for me, how I understood it is when I got into business, I wanted to make everything that was difficult super simple. Where you get in the business and a lot may be moving around. And it's like, okay, how do I isolate this stuff to where it's just a simple path for direction? Obviously, you guys have sold a lot of insurance. What's your biggest month, Lana?
80.
80? What's your biggest month?
78.
78,000 a month and 80,000 a month, 21 and 20 years old, which is incredible. Like people will kill to do that. It's like, hey, I wrote 81 grand in a month or 78 grand in a month. And they're like, well, how'd you do it? And they're like, well, I worked these hours. This is what I did. This is the time I put in. This was my lead spend. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. I just want the 81 grand. Yeah. So
Not going to correlate.
can you talk about just like the drive behind it? Because for me, like I have a burning desire to be great. I have a burning desire. I could last the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, however long it takes to be able to have success and build the business to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what was like your driving factor that pushed you to be able to be in a position to stay disciplined and focused long enough to write 81 grand? Because if you're 2 weeks in, you're already at 40 grand. That's a damn good month.
Yeah.
But what did you do to be able to push through to have a $81,000 month?
Dude, I just like growing up, my parents were really, really hard on me about like, if you're going to do anything, like don't be average, like be the best. And I feel like just as a kid, just having that like ingrained into my brain really translated over this. First month I did 20, second month I did 40, third month I did 60, by my fourth month, that's when I hit the 80. And then I really saw how much this business could change my life. And I started building a team. So I'm kind of like that 40, 50K month where I'm still ripping, but like I'm more so focused on like recruiting my guys, training, investing in them. This is a little bit different for me now, but I just understood like if I'm going to do anything, like I might as well go all in on it. Like I've never ever seen a point of doing something and just going half in on it. And for me, like you had that burning drive, like deep down, I had the same thing. Like if I'm not the best, like I just got like a burning desire to get to that number one spot. And that's kind of that whole point about like, you know, what they say about like you shoot for the stars and you miss and you hit the moon, like you still made it far. So for me, it's that perspective of like shooting incredibly high. And if I miss it, you know, I'm still doing pretty freaking good.
100%. And I feel too is you're starting to see what you're capable of,
Right.
which is
Right.
an insane feeling. Like once you start to, the hardest part is the very beginning. You're selling insurance to be able to make money to pay your bills. Solve that as quick as possible. And some people that takes years to be able to get to that point. Like it's paycheck to paycheck and 1099, and that's a grind because you're putting in all this time, effort, and energy. And if you don't develop the skill set quick enough, you're always going to stay in that hamster wheel. So a lot of people will say, there's a hamster wheel when it comes to W-2. It's the same thing in 1099 if you don't first figure out how to hustle. And just understanding the amount of effort that both of you guys have put in is incredible. But that's why you guys are where you're at. That's how you can sell these big guns. That's how you're able to get to a point that you're profitable and turn around and help people get to your point is you fast track the learning curve. So can you talk about that? Obviously, you've been in insurance how long now?
This is going to be 2 years, marks like next month.
2 years,
Yep.
which is awesome. 21 years old, 2 years in. I've been in insurance 5 years. I got in at 24. So you're way ahead of the ball, which is sick. And just the knowledge that you possess from door to door, from being in insurance for 2 years, you've just gained so much knowledge in the business world, which is incredible. Can you talk about the learning curve? Like obviously you see it when you're building a team. What are some things to focus on? Like if I'm a new agent, I came in, I'm like, hey dude, I'm fired up. I'm ready to join you in business. Like how do I get to a point that I have a skill set that's going to be able to be used over and over and over again to get me paid?
Yep. I would say the biggest thing is chasing the failures the quickest, because the quicker you fail, the closer you are to actually succeeding in this industry. You're going to go through so many no's, but how you respond to the first no compared to the second no is going to determine if you're actually going to be successful in this industry or not. If you just keep doing the same thing continuously, you're not going to ever grow anywhere in this industry. But if you can chase those failures and just take it all as lessons and treat, in my opinion, your first few months or sometimes your first year, depending on who you are, as just you learning the skill set, you're going to make a lot more money that second year. But everybody, we're in an area where nowadays on social media, people see the Lamborghinis every single day, or they just see some type of flashy object. They want to know, how can I make the most money the quickest? But from what I've seen, people that make the most money the quickest, they're not in the industry months later, and now they have all this debt, or now they're just somewhere else back in a normal 9 to 5 job. You want to chase the man or the woman, whoever that is for you. I think that's the bigger purpose that you want to actually go after, because then 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I'm 25, 30, 35 years old, I'm going to be a completely different person because I chased the man, not the money.
100%. And I want to add to that as well. I'm a big podcast listener myself, and I was listening to one. I honestly can't remember who it was, but he said something like, I'm gonna change your perspective on no in 30 seconds. And I was like, okay, hold on, let's see what I say. And he was like, imagine I told you you're 10 no's away from $1 billion yes. How excited would you be to get that first no? And in my head, I'm thinking, dude, I'd be freaking stoked.
Yeah.
How quick would you then want to get to that second no? And you hit the nail on the head there. It's like, you've got to fail. You've got to be willing to fail, knowing that yes is going to come. And really, Bowen, answer your question. If a new agent is listening to this, it's literally all about expediting the learning curve. When I came in, dude, I started 6 months ago, didn't even know life insurance was a thing. When Hiram hit me up, we sell life insurance, I went on Google, what is life insurance? I literally didn't know what it was. So I'm coming in, I'm having to learn about all these carriers, products, different things that they offer. It was just a lot of information. It was an absolute overload for my brain, but it just chipped away at it every day. I'm watching YouTube videos, podcasts, picking people's brains, going through on the carrier's website. You can go to the portal and actually see their product log and read through it. Chat GPT. Literally, we have so many resources nowadays. There's no excuse for why you can't expedite the learning curve. I just unfortunately see so many agents come in and they ultimately just stretch the learning curve. I feel like it max should be 60 to 90 days if you're continually chipping away at it every day. But the problem is, they'll do 3 days on, I won't see them on the Discord for a week, and then they'll be back on the morning and then not. And I'm like, at the end of the day, that's only hurting you because you're just stretching out the amount of time that you've got to get to, from point A to point B. In my mind, I'm thinking, I hate wasting time. Why don't I just shrink that and just, do what's required, like you talked about?
Yeah. That's how it was when I got in business. Is I saw people that were doing $1 million a month, $5 million a month, $10 million a month, whatever it may be. And I got in and I was like, okay, they've been here 10 years. It took them 10 years to get to that point. How would I fast track me getting that point a hell of a lot quicker? And you have to compress time.
Yeah.
So when I got in, it was no days off, and people are like, well, no days off. It's like, well, how bad do you want to build a business? Because that's what it comes down to. Is people come in here and make a good living and work a couple days a week if their skill set's good enough and if they built a solid foundation. But we want to build with the people that really just want to build a massive organization. And it requires a lot. For me, when I got in, I had to work 7 days a week. It's what I required because I understood where I was at and I understood where my skill set needed to be able to make money. And I also had the vision and I had the vehicle. I just had to put in all this repetition activity to be able to get to that point.
Yeah.
So that's huge. What are some things that you see in people that do have success? Let's talk about a span of a year. You haven't been here a year yet.
No.
Almost. So we'll talk about 8 months, 7 months?
Yeah. This is the start of 7.
7 months. We'll talk about 7 months. You see people come in for 7 months. You'll see people that still can't write over 20 grand a month 7 months in. And you'll see people that are 7 months in writing 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 grand a month. What do you guys feel like the biggest separator is in between the two?
the quality of the questions that they're asking, not only for the client, but also the person that they're under. Because I find that there's two types of people. A lot of agents are going to come in and ask questions regardless, but what kind of questions are you actually asking your upline or whoever your mentor is? A lot of agents will just ask stupid questions that just makes it seem like they're busy, or you're going to ask some productive questions that are like, okay, how can I actually get better? What should I say in this moment versus that moment? Those are the people that you're going to see succeed, and not just be in an area where I asked all these questions that I still didn't succeed. What's my problem? That'd be like my condensed answer for that.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree with that. But I think for me, and I talked about this on my podcast yesterday, shameless plug.
It's
Oh, mention a ball on the ball.
Um, when a new agent comes in, what is their perspective, right? You talk about all the time, like when I first met you, you were like, you come in, you own your own business. I took that to heart. And I feel like a new agent, you can come in one of two ways, treating it as if you're an employee or treating it as if you're a business owner. And employees and business owners think two different ways. Hiram never had to hold my hand. He never had to tell me what to do. I figured it out. And he gave me the resources to do it. I'm not saying he didn't do nothing.
I don't do it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But like employees, they've got to have their hand held, right? They just do the bare minimum. They don't do anything with a long-term vision in mind. They just come in thinking 7 months, like, oh, this is just a summer job, right? When I came in, I feel like business owners, like the people at ACE, Scott was telling us this week, they've got a 100-year plan for their organization. And these dudes are billionaires, and they have a 100-year plan that they just sat down and met about. And that like mentality truly just encompasses what it is to own a business, and that relentless pursuit of excellence and just chasing it every single day. It's just that mentality is what, in my opinion, it's either going to make or break you, because business, there's going to be ups and downs, but you know it eventually will hit as long as you're doing the right things and what's required.
But I think to add to that, there's another version of a person who comes in and they automatically think they're a business owner. So they're the type of business owner where Andy Frisella talks about this a lot. Come in on Sunday, leave by Monday, take the whole vacation all the way till Thursday, come in by Friday, do a quick meeting, and then leave for the rest of the weekend. You really have to have that business mindset, but be your number one employee for your business.
Yep.
For those few, or for this really everything, until you can get to a point where I would say you're at like $500 to $1 million a month. You have to be the number one producer, number one recruiter, and number one everything in the business to really drive it forward, to being able to have that 100-year vision in any type of business.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's huge. I mean, I feel too is when agents join, they're like, well, I'm going to see if this works out.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm going to make this work.
Yeah.
And that's two different motors driving. Like the if this works out motor is like, it's got oil leaking, tire falling off, like blinkers are out, headlights are busted, no windshield. And as soon as I already said, you're
failed too.
you're on your way out, but I'm going to make this work. Like you're going to do whatever's required to be able to make it work. And I feel it starts with a commitment. When people start, it's like, what is your commitment? That if this works out, or I'm going to make this work out.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the driving factor, but also understanding that when you get in, you have to understand that if you're brand new to sales or you're brand new to insurance, what is required, that what knowledge is required to get you to a point that you can just implement this over and over and over again to be able to get a result. And I think of it as like when somebody gets in a car, you get in the car and there's the people that they check the mirror, they check the blinkers, they check the washer fluid. I get in the car and I put it in drive and I go. Right. And that's the same when people start. Is when they start, they're just doing everything other than just starting.
Money-making activities.
100%. MMA, money-making activities, which is huge. You focus on money-making activities, over time, you're going to be able to make money.
Yeah.
But it's also joining to develop a skill set versus joining to make money. If you develop a skill set, right, you'll be able to make money. If you join to make money, when you're not making money, you're going to forget about the skill set and you're going to go try to find money elsewhere.
Yeah. And I think we've had a conversation about this before. When you started and you made 30 grand your first year, and the reason you were able to stick through it is because you're like, the alternative is just going, sitting at a cubicle and a 9-to-5 desk, running a rat race for the rest of your life. And the culture of guys that I've built doesn't even feel like we're working. We're helping families, we're making money, we're with the boys. Like, I understand that even if it's not like where I want to be yet, it's like I'm willing to push through just because like I know the alternative is just to go work with a bunch of, you know, people that don't understand who I am, right? They don't understand my mindset. They don't understand where I come from. They've been groomed by the system, the school system to just think, act, live a certain way. And it makes me uncomfortable being around those people, right? As I feel like that's why we all like hanging around each other so much because we all pretty much think the same.
Think different. It's huge. Yeah. You got to think different. You got to think that you're deserving of more, but also believe that you're deserving of more. Believe that you're capable of more. And then having the action to show up. There's more knowledge than ever. There's so much knowledge out there to get good at sales. There's YouTube videos, there's podcasts, there's books to teach you what is required to be able to get good at sales. There's just less action.
Yeah.
And so action is huge. That's how I have it.
So many resources out there. If you fail, it's like impossible to point blame at anything else other than yourself. I mean, especially in our IMO, we have the right leadership. We have phenomenal leads. We have phenomenal trainings and tools in our Monday, Wednesday, Friday calls. Not to mention YouTube, ChatGPT, podcasts. Like, truly, if you fail, it's on you. Like you said, I started as well with $300 in my name and had to leverage some credit cards once I started ripping to be able to, like, you know, really expedite my business. So you found a way. I mean, what's a new agent's excuse other than they just didn't put in enough?
Yeah. What was the question? We told him as his buddy that he was recruiting.
Oh, is this like mission only?
No, it was you were a 30 grand.
30 grand a year.
Well, you're telling him you're the type, you come in here, you kill it, you'll do it. I was like, ask him. If you made 30 grand a year, would you quit? He's like, no, I'd figure it out. That's what it takes.
It is, yeah.
Just understand it does take time to get good, but make sure your time is moving the needle in the right direction.
Right.
And it's not always the money moving needle, it's the progress, it's the skill set, it's the development, it's the time. So what are some things that you feel helped you stay grounded when it does get difficult? Because there is, and I mean, obviously you've been in 2 years, like a difficult day isn't that hard because we're sitting in AC, right, and we're selling insurance. But when you started, when you had maybe a slow week or you didn't close or maybe you needed to make money, but you didn't, what did you leverage to be able to stay grounded during those times?
My faith and the entrepreneurs that I follow. So when I was in solar, that's where I really built my mindset, which is why even if I were to redo it all over, I would still start with solar, then transitioning to insurance for my situation specifically. But I did 75 hard, and while I was doing 75 hard, I was listening to David Goggins and Andy Frisella. For me, like listening to Andy Frisella and Alex Ravozzi, I got to see two men that are now worth over $100 million that had been in such bad points in life where Andy Frisella, you talked about it earlier, only made $60,000 his first 10 years of business. I look at his story every single day, watch his podcast every single day. He has what I want to have. If he could do that, we'd both bleed the same way. I can survive this.
Yeah.
Even with Alex Ramosi, there's been times where he's had to pull out from his checkbook and pay out of his pocket for his sales guys because the business wasn't doing well enough. So seeing what they've gone through, putting into perspective of I need to make a quick sale to, you know, pay rent or do whatever I need to do at the time, it's nothing in comparison. And even then, they always say, like, you know, men are in their prime in their 30s. I have another 9 years up to 35, like another 14 years until I'm even there. My goal is so much larger than one missed rent thing or, you know, one bill that's not paid.
Can you talk about what did you do to be able to eliminate distractions? Because when you join the business, there's all these millionaires all over Instagram that are proclaimed millionaires that are talking about, hey, join this or this high ticket or whatever this may be. And then you're joining the business. There's products, there's carriers, there's scripts. What did you do to be able to eliminate distractions, to stay focused long enough to be able to get results?
Yeah. I just ultimately knew that like it was going to come with a cost, right? Like when I first got into the business, the only single portion of the day I was taking off was Sunday afternoon. Like I was ripping from 8 a.m. when I hopped on, you know, my computer all the way till night. And I think for me, it just I just kind of understood like this is what it takes. I've got to do it regardless if I like it or not.
Yeah.
And, you know, when it comes to eliminating distractions, you just have to kind of ultimately take a step back with a perspective in mind and just, is it worth it, right? Is it worth it going out tonight, getting hammered, knowing I'm going to wake up tomorrow absolutely hungover. My day is going to, you know, start slow. I'm going to be behind the 8 ball. And then by the time I even catch up, my competition got an extra 2 days on it. And so I think for me, it really ultimately boiled down to kind of like the principle you talked about. Like it's either 5 years of pain for, 80 years of freedom, or it's 5 years of freedom for 80 years of pain. And for me, Bowen, it just ultimately came down to me willing to pay the price now, knowing that in the future, like I'll have it.
I think it's also like just burning the bridges like of your past self. That's one of the biggest things that you can do, because there's so many areas where, like, I'm not saying like just stop talking to your day one friends. Like I still talk to a lot of my buddies, but they know that I'm a completely different person than when we were in high school, or in like you guys' cases when you were in college. You got to burn that past version of yourself, because every single thing that got you to be that person is what's going to limit you from becoming the person that you actually want to become in the future. And I just see a lot of people outside of what I was just mentioning, they let any single thing that goes wrong in their life be the excuse as to why they can't succeed. The amount of times I brought someone in and they tell me, oh, I got family issues, I got family issues, I got family issues. I've never once heard of more family issues until I got into this business for sauce. But also, I don't know what goes on to have that much of an effect. But the way I think about it is just like you, man, where it's like, or in my perspective, it's like, what can you provide to your family if you have no money? Really just like no money. Like you can, if unless it's like a person passes away, or a person's pregnant, you want to go see the baby being born. I understand, but in those cases, a lot of times when it comes to family issues, they need financial support, not a hug. A hug's not going to do much in those cases, and people just let that hold them back so much. Where it's like, I just see you don't really have that dog in you, because the dog side of yourself is going to be the person that's like, hey, mom, I understand, like, we're going through tough times. Let me focus on this for now. I'll come back to you, but I'll come back to you and be able to support you, instead of just saying, I wish we could help out some type of way.
That's so good. Because it's like, as well as I'm not a parent yet, but like as a parent, like you've kind of got to understand like what's required for us to do that. And it's so true what you said, going back to like, I promise, like I love you, which is why I'm doing this for you. And it's like, it can seem selfish, and I can understand maybe how from a parent's perspective, it's like, my kid's working 7 days a week. I barely see him anymore. But just understanding like I'm chasing my vision. Like I love what I do, and I want to be the person in the family where it's like, yeah, we're taking Landon's yacht for the day, or I'm the one paying for the trip. I'm the one paying for all the restaurants. Like that's like what I want to be. But I know like to get there, it's going to take that period of like going through.
Yep. And
What's cool too is you guys are at the phase where I was when I started, of you're misunderstood. A lot of people don't know you work too much, you deserve a day off. Like you're going to have all these people telling you that. And it's because it's not an environment of true entrepreneurship. Is you get around a bunch of entrepreneurs or business owners that build businesses, they understand it. Like a lot of my family, they didn't understand. A lot of my friends, they didn't understand it, but now they understand it now because they see it. They're like, okay, this is what he saw.
Yeah.
And for me, I was never discouraged when people were like, hey, you're doing too much of this. You need to show up. You don't come here. You don't do that. And for me, I was never discouraged, because I could vividly see where I was going. I could almost reach out and touch it. So having a vision during those times, and then as your circle evolves and you network and you meet new individuals and you bring leaders into your business, they're going to experience a lot of the same stuff. And it just depends what people's background are, where you're coming from. But
Yeah.
understand none of that matters for you to be able to have success. What matters is you staying locked in, disciplined, and focused.
You touched on vision. I love that word so much, because like for me, when I found out about this opportunity, I was telling my buddies like in the locker room, like this may be like the next best thing. Like I'm excited to rip this. Like, and this is their response to me is like, well, let me know how that works out for you. If it does, give me a call and I'm in with you. And it's like for me, like I didn't have to be that. Like I'm willing to be the guinea pig, right? Because it's like I see it before it even happens. I just don't know, like, I just don't see how other people have that perspective. Like, you go first, you try it, and if it works for you, then I'll buy into the vision. And it's like, I saw it well before it even happened, like, and I'm still not there. And I can already see, like, the long-term, like, buyout vision of that version of me that does have the family yacht and paying for everything, and I can see it clear as day, and I'm not gonna wait for somebody else to do that just for me to be like, "Well, shoot, he did it. Alright, now that's the path, the vision's clear."
And that's what he said to me, like you, or I guess your mentor said it to you, and you let me know about it. But the biggest quote that has like resonated with me the most of any time, like you're going through any type of struggle, you just let me know if, like, the difference between a person that makes 7 figures and a person that doesn't is the time it takes them to make decisions. And for you and your example, your friends that do that, they're going to see you making, 6, 7 figures in a year, and they're like, okay, now I should do that. The opportunity might have on it, yeah, the ship might have been sailed at that point where it's like, there's so many times where people look back and they're like, "Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that." My biggest thing that I never wanted to be is that uncle at a cookout that's like, "I could have been this thing could have been the next greatest thing. I lost my scholarship for now leg, but wasn't for my dang kneecap and then I tore." We all have that family member every day.
It's awesome. I mean, this allows people to understand why you guys are to the point that you're at, selling 81 grand in a month, 78 grand in a month, building a team, attracting a lot of quality individuals to your team, helping get your people paid. Let's end on some sales tips. Maybe some tips that helped you guys in the very beginning, or something that you feel if you knew in the very beginning it would help fast track. So obviously they see the mindset behind it. They see the vision, they see the drive. Now let's dive into the sales side. Like, what are some things that helped you on the phones
Yeah.
to close deals, or to just really connect with the client, to be able to ask enough questions for them to see what life insurance looked like if they had it and they died, and if they didn't have it and they died?
Yeah, I would say a few of the biggest things that it's been for me. It first started where I was just assuming it the entire time, where I was like, we're gonna get this done. You need this, like it's just gonna happen. And I was getting a good amount of sales that way, but I wasn't breaking, like $30,000-$40,000 a month, because you're gonna have those people where you're running into more objections, and they're just gonna have something come up because you didn't truly understand them. So it wasn't I didn't start closing anything over 40, 50, all the way up to 78 in a month until I started transitioning into just asking proper questions to move the sale forward. And I stopped listening to respond. I was listening to understand. When you start understanding the client and you're asking questions based off of what they've already told you, you're going to get so much further along in that sale that they're now going to feel a lot more comfortable with you. They're going to let you know where their finances are at, where their goals are at, what life, and then you can project to them what life looks like with the life insurance versus what life looks like without life insurance. And then from there, they're going to want to buy, because people don't want to be sold anything. They want to buy something. How can you ask the right questions to make them want to buy from you, not you sell them a product?
Yeah. What are some questions that you ask that you feel helps you really connect with the client, or really understand the client's situation?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I always like to ask is, Bowen, what's been really holding you back from already having something of this nature in place? They'll let me know exactly what that is. But okay, now ideally, if we can get that set up for you, what does life look like for you now? Is this just going to be like a drop in the bucket, or is this some legitimate peace of mind for your family? Oh, it's peace of mind. Okay, perfect. Now, last major question. I'm just curious. You haven't done this, for XYZ amount of time. Why now? Why not 6 months into the future? Why not 6 months, in the past? Why are you looking at this in the current moment? And right from there, they're going to tell you exactly why they need to buy this right now, or they need to see if they can get approved for this right now. As long as you provide them with the solution to their problem, every single time after you let them know what product you're recommending for them, just let them know, now, assuming we can get you approved, do you feel like this would be the answer for you? They'll say yes 9 out of 10 times. Maybe they'll have an objection, or maybe they'll say maybe. You can find out why they're saying maybe right then and there. But those like 3, 4 questions will position yourself in a way where they just told you why they should get it. You doubled down on that reason. Now they're buying something. You're just here letting them know what you have.
Those are great questions.
Yeah.
And I feel too is when people start, they're like, which option do you want? Not, now, do you feel this is the answer to what you were looking for?
Yeah.
How did you phrase it again?
Yeah, so at the end, whether I'm recommending an IUL, mortgage protection, or final expense, I always let them know. Now, regardless of these policies, they are pretty tough to get approved for. But assuming we were able to find an approval for you, do you feel like this could potentially be the answer to what you were looking for? Just shut up and then listen. They'll say yes, but okay. Now, just so I can make sure I'm placing you into the best policy, number one thing I find in this industry are the right clients placed into the wrong policies. Just to make sure I do find the right policy for you, do you mind just telling me a little bit more why you feel like this policy could help you out the most? They'll tell you why. Close.
It's incredible, dude.
That's solid. Yeah.
Do you,
So by where size similar? Hope whoever is listening, I was like notes because that's awesome. Yeah, I mean something similar. I think for me, really like going back to your original question of what do I wish I knew when I started versus now. Just being a professional question asker. Like you hit it on the head when you told me one time. You're like, if people see a big enough problem, they'll buy any solution. And so for me, I was just going through the motions. Do this, do that, then show them the price, being like, oh, like, why aren't you buying it? Oh my gosh, I'm giving all these quotes to people. I see new agents giving quotes left and right, but they're not closing deals. Like, you don't get it. Like, right, and close it. Right. And so for me, it's really like understanding like how to be a good question asker. And I think like I use a lot of logic in my presentation. So like, for example, like, what's your family situation look like? Get them to explain to me like I'm married, I have kids, whatever. Okay. Now let me ask you, Paul. If God forbid you pass away, let's say tomorrow, walk me through how's your wife going to handle things? Would she sell the property? Would she keep it? What does life kind of look like in place if you don't have the mortgage protection? They will literally paint the picture for me. And they'll be like, yeah, my wife, she doesn't work. If I don't have this, she's probably going to have to sell the property. Got it. Now, Bowen, when you say sell the property, do you mean like financially she's not going to be able to keep up with it, or she just sell? Oh, no, financially, man, it'd be a burden for her. Got it. So with that in mind, Bowen, do you feel this policy is kind of just a luxury for you, or is this like a necessity to get to protect her? It's a necessity. Now, it's kind of like what you said. I have enough ammo because I asked the right questions to make the sale. And if they give me something like, I got to think about it. Dude, I've got enough ammo to be like, with all due respect, Bowen, you did tell me this is a necessity for you, correct? Okay. And you also did tell me that if you don't get this, your wife's on the street, basically. Okay, so with all due respect, Bowen, what is there exactly to think about? And then, like you said, shut up. Silence is just completely powerful.
Yeah.
So I think that answers your question. But then going back to what do I wish I knew? I was just very timid at first, right? And in lead-based sales, what clicked for me was knowing that at one point in time, regardless if it was 3 years ago or 2 minutes ago, they saw an ad, they saw a form, and they saw something in their mind that thought, dadgum, I could use this for my family to put me in a better position. And for me, I was like going into selling them as if kind of they were a cold call, when for now I'm almost like assuming the sale, because it's like this business doesn't even feel like sales sometimes. Like we're doing inbound lead sales where they filled out a form requesting information about a product that they feel they would benefit from for their family. And when I tell new agents coming in, I'm like, you just got to close the gap. Like, you've just got to get them what they're looking for at the right price, break down the budget, make sure it actually makes sense for them, get them to understand that, and then you're good to go. And that's what leads to stickier business. You're not trying to rush into something. Oh, God, they said yes. I'll get them. And then they're like, they kind of like hit a week later, like, what do I even get this for?
Yep.
You want us to be able to understand
All right.
what they have and what is the purpose of it. That's why I ask people is, okay, you have X amount of policies. And one thing I say too is a rookie agent will replace, a veteran agent will add to existing because they're already a buyer. You just have to categorize their life insurance and fund. So when you originally got the policy, what is the purpose of the policy? They're like, well, I don't know. Okay, how much coverage is it? 500 grand. Okay, you make 100 grand a year. Is this just 5 years of income replacement? That way, if you pass away, it's going to be able to protect your wife that depends on your income for 5 years. Well, I don't know. It's a yes or no. Is that kind of why you had to put in place? And just being able to like ask these questions to help them categorize, to find gaps and where you can deliver a product as well. And one thing that you mentioned is like you'll see rookie agents when they start, they're telling the client, you need this, this is what you need, this is why people get it, and they're telling them. A veteran agent, they're going to ask questions, and then the client's going to tell them why they need it.
Exactly.
And it changes the whole trajectory of the call, and it's based on the quality of questions that you ask, determines the quality of conversations that you have with your clients.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
And I think too, something I've just started doing is it's been working for me is I make 3 promises to my clients. I'm like, number 1, I'm a professional. I'm gonna put you and your wife in the best position. Number 2, I am not gonna lie to you. Regardless of how this call goes, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything to you. If it's not gonna be a good fit for you, I'll tell you. If this doesn't make sense for you and your family, I'll tell you. And then my third promise to you is if you call me and I'll answer your phone call or your text within 24 hours, I don't want you. I need you to call my secretary and report me dead. Because that is the only way I wouldn't be able to answer your phone call. So really just being honest with these clients and telling them like, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna return your phone call. I'm gonna put you in the best position possible. You're in good hands. It's been working for me lately. And I've been getting less objections. I've been getting easier closes just because people understand like, hey, this guy's legit. He's a professional.
I think it's a lot of detachment too. Like that's the number one thing I try to tell my agents about is like, stop worrying about if the person buys from you or not. Just get the skill set down. Because when you're chasing, oh, I need to make a sale, I need to make a sale, they're going to just sprint out the door from you. But the entire time I act as a professional as well, or I am a professional as well, where I let them know exactly who I am within the first, 10, 15 seconds of the call. But then from there, I'm very laid back. Like I'll let them know I've been at home all day. I'm in my guest room right now. Yeah, I'm watching a movie while I'm talking to you. Like they know exactly what I'm doing. I'll share my screen with them. They can see me in a hoodie and some sweatpants, and I'll just let them know like, hey, I'm working from home. I'm just comfortable. Got my pit bulls right next to me. Like when they see how relaxed and how chill you are, and more importantly, they know that you're actually listening to them, you're not just some type of salesperson, they're gonna start to buy a lot more. But too many times, people like new agents will try to be this professional salesperson, and anytime a client says one thing, you just take the conversation somewhere completely different because you heard that in a training. Then that client will have the I want to think about it or I need more information. Then you need to get a veteran agent on the phone, or you just lose the sale in general, and you'll be wondering where did I go wrong? Where you went wrong was you stopped listening, you tried to start selling, and that's where you messed up right then and there.
Absolutely. And understand too, insurance sales is different than any other sales opportunity. Because when you're selling a car, it's a one-time sale. It's a one-time commission. They're never going to talk to that client. That's why it's important to be able to service your clients to the best of your ability, both personally and professionally, because if you keep them on the books, you want a client for life. You don't want a client for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then cancel, you get a chargeback. You want a client for life. So it's important to refine your process to where you can find clients for life.
And a trait you do that is that he's in the best position. I mean, ultimately.
Absolutely.
And you hit something on the head too. You said a veteran agent, he doesn't replace, he just kind of categorizes it. I remember being in his office. He's talking to some Samoan dude. I don't even know if you remember this. And the guy's like, Bowen's like, yeah, how many life insurance policies do you have? The guy's like, yeah, I've got about like 7. And I literally was like, no chance he sells him a policy. And he did, because they literally broke down every policy and was like, oh, so that's for final expense. Got it. Okay, so this is to replace your income for when you pass away. Got it. This was just to leave some money the wife got. And he broke it down so crazy enough to where it's like, so the only gap that we need to cover left is the mortgage, right? And I was like, wow. So when you said that, it reminded me of that, because I was like, I seen that firsthand, and I've been able to teach my team that utilize. So that was huge.
I mean, it helps. It's understanding that one policy isn't designed to serve every purpose.
Yeah.
And when you understand that you could leverage a small monthly payment for a large lump sum tax-free, why wouldn't you structure all areas of your life to where if you're not here, well, we can't replace you physically, but we can replace you financially. And when people pass away, they're never like, hey, you gave us too much money.
Yeah.
Like they're never calling an insurance company saying, hey, Landon, you sold us way too much insurance. They paid us way too much. It's like, okay, are you sure there's not other policies?
Yeah.
Then I've talked to clients that they've had significant others pass away with no insurance in place and with insurance in place. And I can tell you, when they pass away with insurance in place, they're not worried about, oh, that was $300 a month. I can't believe that we were paying that. They're like, okay, this is exactly why I got it in place.
Yeah.
And when people pass away, they're like, I wish I would have gotten something in place.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to live with is the pain of regret, the pain of I didn't make the decision soon enough.
Right. And it sounds crummy to say this, but when you come with the perspective and the heart to truly put the client in the best position possible, you end up making more money. And I'm not saying you should do that in order to make more money, but that's just naturally what happens when you do actually have a heart and intent to care about people, because that's our job, right? Not only do we make a lot of money, but we help people. We protect families from foreclosure. We both help protect families from retirement with annuities and advanced market IBC, IULs, all kinds of stuff like that. Like, truly, the products that we offer put people in a great position. And I now like believe in the products so much where I actually have them on myself. Like, I believe in them so much that like I am so thoroughly convinced everybody should have this, and it just puts people in a great boat. And I'm able to make a living from it as well.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you, Ball. I have one last question. Where do you think you're gonna end the year income-wise?
Income wise, probably close to 300 grand. Like December, you mean, or like when I first, like technically my 12 months?
Help me round into 2026.
I'm just question. You think I started?
We're gonna lead back on this. You're 20 years old. Where do you feel that you're gonna end 2025 income-wise?
I'll probably say 300 grand.
What about net? Is that net 300 grand?
Yeah.
Net 300 grand. So after leads, okay. That's awesome, dude. That's huge. It's 10x what I made my first year in insurance, which is sick. But it's understanding that the leaders, we get more effective, more efficient. The training gets more effective, more efficient. And we're going to continue to refine the business. What about you, Jareel? What do you feel you're going to have?
I would say after leads, IUL leads are definitely more expensive. I should be able to net run around 400, 450. 450.
Which I just want to, like, that is incredible. Like, a new recruit watching this, like, dude, like, there's no other job out there.
We got a whole nother quarter left. That's fine.
I know, right? And that's probably the least I'll ever make in my life. You said that at our conference. Look around, boys. This is the smallest this thing's ever gonna be. And that's just like lead-based sales and commission and all that. It scares people so much, but like I feel like we're all the 1% that's like, there's no ceiling to this thing. Like, this will be my smallest. You look back at your 30 grand year, like it's only gone to that point where you're like, dang, that's like a slow week for me now. It's like, it's incredible. And I'm just blessed, bro, because there is no other business out there, regardless of if you have a degree or not, where you can come in, make 6 figures your first year just because of the vehicle that you're in. For me, that was insurance, right?
I said it best. Like when he brought me in, he's like, I've just never seen a business where you can get to 100 grand a month so quickly. And obviously I'm not there yet, but to be the 18-year-old me, if he could just imagine the income that he's making, but the value that he's providing, more importantly, it's something that I would have never seen to be possible. So I'm just more so excited on where I'll be at in 4 years from now, or even in 7 years from now.
Which the coolest thing about it is the 300 grand, the 450 grand that you guys will make, it's solely tied to the amount of people that you helped in a service-based business. It shows you how much life insurance you put in place, how many families did you protect. It also shows you how many new agents that you help come in here and get paid, which is incredible. That's what it's about. And if you have the servant leadership of like, I'm going to help people get to my point a hell of a lot quicker. Like if I listen to this and I heard you guys, I'm like, dude, I'm joining. I was coming straight out of college. Anybody could have recruited me that was making money. I never even saw money like this. And being able to like hear your guys' story and what drives you guys is incredible. But like the amount of success that you're having at such a young age, 21 and 20, like, dude, it's insane. There's no ceiling on it. However big you want to build it, you can build it. However profitable you want to build it, you can build it. However many people you want to help, you can help them. Get to your point a lot quicker. And that's a sole focus. What's crazy too is, we'll end on this. Since the last podcast is the second podcast that we recorded, talking about the growth of the organization, we recorded how long ago, Sid?
The last podcast?
3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks ago, we recorded the last podcast. We've grown 100 agents since 3 weeks ago. Holy, which is incredible. We'll be over 1,000 agents by December, and we're going to continue to help people get paid and teach them the right way to do business, the servant way, and teach them how to train, lead, and develop. And that's the focus. This is going to be a massive organization. You guys are playing a huge role in it, and we're excited to see where it goes. So we appreciate you guys for listening.